Well, here I am again. Allison is sitting across the room there, and she's giving me a new subject. Hoarding is the greatest fear. I didn't know what hoarding was. I never knew. Uh, I was probably 60, 65 years old before I even knew what hoarding was. I knew educationally what the word meant. But finally, I went on YouTube and I saw some of the houses of people who hoard, and having some psychological background, I'm trying to evaluate why do people save everything? They're afraid, afraid, afraid. That phrase kept coming back to me. Afraid, afraid, afraid of throwing things away. Oh, I may never get it again. Oh, I may need it sometime. Oh, I may have to use it. Oh, if I see it, I feel safer. That one thing I learned about the Filipino people, which I found fascinating, is in their culture, their rice has to be visible, either in a bag or in a container. That the Filipino people, because of the hardship that country, being a third world nation, and the hunger, that basically they feel very comforted if their food is present in the room, sitting on the floor. They don't generally put it in a cupboard or hide it or whatever. It's important to them to stave off that fear of hunger. Well, hoarding, to me, is not just physical. And with Heavenly Father, nothing is just physical. Physical is basically the perimeter of what He's really trying to teach us. Hoarding is fear. It's not just fear of food. It's not just fear of Elder Marcos, his wife. You're all too young to remember. I think she had 10,000 pairs of shoes. She only had 2 feet that I knew of, but again, in the Philippines, they don't have shoes. They are barefoot, or they have what we call thongs in California, or slippers. They'll use that term in the Philippines. Well, Sister Marcus was hoarding shoes because she was fearful she would never have enough shoes. So hoarding can be spiritual, and here's an interesting one: money. How many millionaires have enough money? Have you ever met a rich person that goes, I have enough money, I don't want any more? I put on my YouTube just 2 days ago. I said, I've got almost now 2,000 YouTubes. Not one penny. I've not monetized any of my YouTubes. I've always said to you, truth is free. Right. Truth is free. Heavenly Father doesn't say, here is the pearly gates, put a little money in the doorknob handle there and I'll let you in. Truth, facts, stupidity in between. So hoarding is only fear. Fear of not being successful, fear of food, fear of not having clothing, fear that we're going to die, fear, fear, fear. So hoarding is the greatest fear. I have to look at my life and think, what do I hoard? And then I have to say to myself, that's my greatest fear. I need to work on that. Or maybe I could be a Mormon general authority and say, I'll just put a mask on. Anyway, let's go back to the real subject here.
What about people that hoard trash?
People who hoard trash. That's an interesting concept. Remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So when you say they hoard trash, they're really hoarding their treasure, their gold. So, again, hoarding is a principle that we attach the word hoarding in English. I don't know in other languages. I could ask Mercy in Filipino, Tagalog, or Cebuana if they have a word for hoarding. But the concept is hoarding is always trash. It's not just, it can be money, it can be cars, it can be houses, it can be empty bags, it can be plastic bags, it can be shoes. Hoarding is always trash. But how many millionaires and how many billionaires have you met that have enough money? They're scared. They're hoarding. They're hoarding. The core human, well, I've talked on other videos on this subject, the core human doesn't change. The core is the core. The peripheral, putting arms on it, legs, a head, and arms, and we can move, that is peripheral addition to the core human. If you or I are afraid of something, it's not going to go away. We're going to hoard it. Or we can also avoid it. Avoidance, psychologically, is the continuum of hoarding. When we don't question, no, she's just farting. You know.
No, it's a good point. It's very good.
Well, millionaires never have enough money. Car enthusiasts never have enough cars. We have to look at ourselves and say, what are we hoarding? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then put beside it, what are we deflecting? What facts don't we want to look at? Oh, no, I have hair. I'm not bald. I have that big, wonderful James Dean, Elvis Presley hair. But the mirror lies its ass off to me. It goes, there's no fucking hair up there. I cannot. Take that mirror down. Take that mirror down. It's a lie. It's a lie. So here is what I'm going to sum up. Hoarding is absolute fear of what you're hoarding. I have to admit, no, I'm not going to admit. It's the first time I don't admit something. We need to look at what we're afraid of. That's what we're hoarding. We're hoarding other people's time. We're hoarding verification, vindication. We have to look at ourselves in an objective. When you say that word and humans, it's like diametrically opposed concepts. When we look at ourselves objectively, take our glasses off, take our mask off, take the mirror off the wall, and say to ourselves at the root basis, what am I afraid of? We can hide some of the things we're afraid of. But a lot of humans are so afraid that we can see it with hoarding. Money, cars, food, etc. So, hoarding is the greatest fear I've come up with to date of being able to understand who we are, what we're afraid of, what we're hoarding. We need to sit down and talk with our Heavenly Father and go, gee, why am I afraid? Like the Filipino people, they put a bag of rice on the side of the wall and make sure it's always there. It's never hidden. It's never in a cupboard. So, hoarding is humans' greatest fear. Thank you.